Kia ora, good evening. Police have confirmed they've received a number of calls from public concerned with possible infant formula product tampering, such as possible pinpricks in packaging lids, but say at this stage there's no information to suggest the public's at risk. In response, a number of tins of product have been collected and secured by police, and all information is in the process of being assessed. Tins of formula are being forensically tested where appropriate. Agencies continue to encourage people to be vigilant when buying infant and other formula and to check all products for tampering as outlined in the MPI customer leaflet found at www.foodprotection.govt.nz and available at supermarkets. Southland's gross domestic product increased 11% for the year ended March 2014. It's the largest GDP increase for any region in New Zealand. The gain reflects the impact of higher milk prices and significance of the agriculture industry to the region. I spoke with Southland Mayor Gary Tong, who says he's absolutely rapt with the results and is now focused on how to invest money back into communities to keep them alive.
Obviously some of the farmers won't be spending like they were, however there's still a lot of other primary industry out there that's supporting it, the fishing, then obviously we've got our tourism and bits and pieces, so I'm pretty happy that once it's up there it's going to take a long time to come down.
As far as what we can do with those figures and what that might mean for us as a province?
Well, yeah, obviously hopefully it's going to keep the money in the province, so you've only got to drive out North Road of Invercargill to see the items that are for sale out there. You've only got to look at our schools. They're all healthy. There's a lot of pupils out there at the moment, so I think we're looking at a reasonably static or flat-lined population for a time. I know that we're certainly up and down, and some of our communities are losing a few people. However, the money's staying in the area, and the people are staying in the area.
From a national perspective, do we get any financial benefit, apart from what we're creating in the region ourselves, from government that would reflect the level of GDP coming out of the province?
That's a good question. I've asked Venture Southland to look into the money that does go out, and obviously GST and taxes and things like that, and what we get back. There is a bit of a shortfall that we're working on.
Long-term implications if dairy prices continue to fall. What could Southland expect perhaps in a few years' time if they stay at the level they're at currently?
Some people are reasonably comfortable. The dairy farmers that I've been speaking to and those that are doing the dairy support are reasonably comfortable. They've obviously budgeted for the lows as well as the highs. Is
it likely that these great results are going to drive more investment in the region from outside of the province? Absolutely,
and that's what we're focused on. We hear all the hard luck stories in the Aucklands and Wellingtons. Well, come and live down here. It's comfortable, it's affordable. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit cool, but we get over that.
Our weather is our wealth.
Absolutely, that's why we've got lovely green grass out there.
Southland Invercargill is set to receive one whale of a landmark over the next few months. The winner of the $100,000 South Alive sculpture competition has finally been announced.
The winning sculpture is a work created by David Trubridge, a design artist that resides in Napier, formerly of the UK, and the winning work is titled Tale of Southland. It's a very large work, as I said, 7 metres high with a span of 10 metres across at the top, and it is a stylistic representation of the tail of a whale, which of course has wonderful reference to Southland and to Fovo Strait, and the strands of the tail representing the different cultures here in Southland now. South Alive started this a national competition because fortunately we had the support of the donor, and it was part of our overall goal to create urban rejuvenation in South Invercargill. In particular, the South City area is the hub and the flagship of South Invercargill, and this was an opportunity to create something very, very special.
I'm the daughter of the donor. My father, Cliff Broad, is the donor of the sculpture for South Invercargill.
Why has he gone ahead and done this?
Well, there are 3 reasons. One reason is that his mother's family, my grandmother's family, the Listers, were early settlers in South Invercargill and lived for a long time in Ern Street. So we have a family connection to this part of town, and so that's important to all of us, and particularly important to my father. So that sort of connection is part of it. Another part is that he was very impressed with what he was hearing and reading of the work of South Alive, and saw South Alive as being a way to make a contribution to this part of town. The third thing is that he's had a lifetime enjoyment and interest in public art and public sculpture, and his personal experience has been that public art can bring a lot of interest and enjoyment and delight to communities, and just that whole excitement of coming round a corner and seeing something beautiful and inspiring. And so he thought that would be an offer he wanted to make to South Alive, and he was really pleased with the enthusiasm with which it was greeted.
Stay with us. Coming up after the break, we speak with the Dairy Woman of the Year, and Invercargill Brewery needs your apples. Welcome back. Invercargill is once again hosting the National Dairy Women's Network Conference, with around 320 members attending workshops today at Stadium Southland. Participants chose from several on offer, including limiting legal responsibility as business operators, healthy farms for the next generation, and creating better on-farm relationships. While most were led by guest speakers, one workshop involved getting hands dirty. The Hands-on Lameness workshop covered practical hoof anatomy and the flow-on impact on productivity and profits. As part of the conference, West Coast woman Katie Milne took out the title of 2015 Dairy Woman of the Year. Her prize, a $25,000 scholarship that will give her a year's exposure to globally focused women in leadership roles across New Zealand's business sector.
I was really complimented by their comments, because it basically, if you put it in layman's terms, it said that I'm actually out there punching probably above my weight. So that was pretty nice thing to hear. Yeah, no, and I wasn't really expecting it, because the calibre of the other contestants was so high. Any one of us, would make a great winner. So I was thinking, well, be one of the other ladies and I'll be really amped for them. But no, it was me. Chatting to the other ladies in bits and pieces, it is great to meet them all, and you learn things in conversations that will point you in different directions or whatever, or you need to talk to this person about that. It really is a great environment to do that networking and nurture people as well as learn from people.
This conference is clearly very important. What issues do you see that are still challenges for women in dairy?
Yeah, probably the big one is that we have to get over ourselves. Someone said to me a long time ago, you're your own worst critic, and I think in that context we can be like that, and we need to step out. We need to actually step up. We're 50% of the industry, and we have a lot to offer. We think differently than men, so when we're put in an environment with men, we have other things to offer and another way to look at stuff, which is very, very valuable. We're 50% of the brain power that is the industry, and we need to move up into those higher roles, not just be the powerhouse in the business on the farm, but step outside of that and come forward and go up into other levels to express our knowledge and have our input.
The Invercargill Brewery is reviving a tradition not seen in the region for years, and what better time to do it than Heritage Month. The brewery is calling on Southlanders to get behind Heritage Cider Day this year by donating apples to a delicious cause.
The Invercargill Brewery is taking cider making back to its roots and is asking Southlanders to keep their eyes peeled for fallen apples.
This is how cider was made originally, and in New Zealand now most of the apples grown commercially are grown as eating apples. But the apples that we have sitting in our backyards and in our old orchards are usually cooking apples. So it's a completely different flavour, and most of them are from old heritage trees that have been neglected over the years. We're asking Southlanders to bring us their apples. Any apples off any tree, windfall, can be a bit moth-eaten, doesn't matter, or off the tree itself. When Steve first started making cider, and that was the first thing he made actually in 1999, he made cider before he ever made beer. What he'd do was drive around Southland with a trailer on, fill it up with apples from the trees on the side of the road, and he used that to make his cider. Now, as Nellie's, he called it Nellie's cider, obviously for his name, as it became more popular, he couldn't get enough apples to do that with anymore, so he started using commercially grown apples that are juiced for us at Darlings and Ettrick. But in the process, what he'd done was, I guess, recovered for Southland a traditional cider making method, and he wanted to keep that alive. So once a year, he still got everybody in to squeeze apples and make good old-fashioned cider.
And although Heritage Cider Day is next month, Southland's Heritage Month made for the perfect, albeit coincidental, time to revive a tradition.
It's timed itself for that, which is really nice. To be fair, we were more thinking about harvest than heritage, but the two sort of run hand in hand. It was something that we did every year up until 2008 was our last batch, and basically we just ran out of room at the old brewery. There was nowhere to put cider or to make cider, so we've been hanging 10 until we got to our new space. We're here now, we've got room, so we thought it's time to bring the tradition back.
The brewery's asking for as many apples as they can get their hands on and are offering apple donors and volunteers a taste of the final product.
Bring them down in their bag loads, bring them down in buckets, yep. We've arranged, Beaumont Meats have kindly offered to store the apples for us so that they're cool stored until cider day. What we do after the fermentation is we age it, and last time round we actually aged it for 12 months and launched it at the next cider day. I'm not sure what Steve's plans are for this year, but the idea is that we'll keep the name of everybody who donates product and we'll give them a bottle of the finished product so they know what they contributed to.
Heritage Cider Day falls on Saturday, April 18. For more information, contact the Invercargill Brewery and get to the core of traditional cider making. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
Time now to take a look at the weather.
Your forecast on Q is brought to you by Environment Southland. Environment Southland wants to know what you think about our recreational water areas. Where do you go? What do you do? And your thoughts about the water quality. You could win one of 5 $100 vouchers simply by completing their survey. The survey will help them find out whether the water is being tested in the right places and how the service can be improved. Complete the survey online by going to Environment Southland's website or pick up a hard copy from Environment Southland, the Southland District Council, Gore District Council, Invercargill City Council or Public Health South.
Taking a look at the weather today for Thursday, the 19th of March. Temperatures around the country at 3 o'clock today. Auckland came in on 20 degrees, it dropped to 14 in Wellington. Christchurch 13 along with Dunedin, 14 for Queenstown, 13 for Gore and Stewart Island. Invercargill also on 14. For tomorrow, mainly fine conditions with winds mainly light but northeasterlies about the coast. 15 the high for Stewart Island tomorrow, 21 for Wyndham, Winton and Riverton. 21 also across the board for Tuatapere, Invercargill and Gore. And 20s for Nightcaps and Te Anau. Taking a look at the marine forecast for FOVO. Northeast 25 knots to northerly 15 knots late Friday. Sea becoming rough with a southerly swell of 3 metres easing. And for Pusaga, northeast 20 knots to northerly 30 knots. Southwest swell of 3 metres to northwesterly swell of 2 metres. Poor visibility and drizzle in Pusaga. And looking at the long-range forecast, cloud increasing on Saturday with rain developing in the afternoon and a southerly change. Rain clearing but remaining cloudy on Sunday with southerlies dying out, and mainly fine on Monday apart from morning and evening cloud. And that's it from us this Thursday. Stay with us. Sport is up next, but from us, your news team, it's good night.